would like to introduce Orion Governance, the information intelligence company. With us today is Ramesh Shurma, founder and CEO, Yetkin, Ozkucur, Global Director of Customer Success, and New Bai, Head of Business Development. This question is for Ramesh. How was Orion founded? Who is Orion, and what does Orion do?
Well, thank you, Christine. Hello, everyone. Thank you for your time. Orion was founded in 2017. What preceded that was a number of years of working in the analytics and data movement aspects for very large companies. And I came to the realization that none of the organizations that I worked with had an idea of where information was coming from and where it was going. There was no single person who really understood the true flow of data. And we had a compelling reason with a migration project, which took a lot of human consultants to go and create a map. And the idea was to create a living, breathing map by reading metadata and doing away with consultants. And that's how the company got started. But subsequently, we had a lot of use cases relating to regulatory compliance and near real-time impact analysis. So we've been in a constant state of evolution since.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. What are some trends that you see in the market, and how are you aligning with those trends?
Thank you for that. The market is very segmented. So you would see a lot of companies that are very siloed in what they have to offer. What we've done with the trend that we see is in this area of what Gartner calls a data fabric. We call this the self-defined data fabric. We build a network, if you will, of all the assets within the IT landscape that are interconnected automatically out of the box, and leverage this for any number of the use cases that some of which that I mentioned earlier. One of which is regulatory compliance. Another one is migration, application modernization or movement into the cloud. Enterprise security is another important play here. Knowing where sensitive information is resident in near real time, that becomes very critical. So we see this data fabric as being the future for everything from security to application modernization to getting hyper awareness of what's going on in the environment, especially in these days of advanced persistent threats or zero-day threats. You cannot live without a solution like this without really being blind to what you have in-house. And of course, there's an awful lot of duplication of assets, shadow IT, and I could keep going on, but I stop here.
Well, Ramesh, can you elaborate on your view of data fabric, since nowadays everybody seems to be talking about it?
Yeah, thank you for that. It almost always seems whenever there's a popular term that Gartner coins, everyone jumps into the bandwagon. And what is fundamentally different is this what we call self-defined data fabric. It's a fact-based connectivity of assets. And this is a harder route to take, which is what Orion has done by supporting 60 plus technologies in a vendor and technology agnostic way, automatically out of the box. Very different from the typical top-down approach that a lot of companies take, where they try to conceptually model what you have in your landscape and then try to map it to the physical world. And that's a very old-fashioned way of doing it. It's what they call in the industry a waterfall approach. The time to deploy something like that takes a long, is very large. Plus, the rate of failure is very high. By doing it the bottom up or the self-defined way, you are getting a factual picture of what's going on in the enterprise. And then the beauty about this is you can add different levels of visualization on top, abstractions, to the foundations that are created. And this is fundamentally what's different. And that's why I qualified this as self-defined data fabric.
Thank you very much, Ramesh. Those are very thorough answers. My next question is for Yetkin. Yetkin, how have your customers been using EIIG?
Yeah, that's a good question, Christine. So as Ramesh mentioned, in the core of what we do is data fabric. So that means we help customers implement data fabric. That means they can implement multiple use cases. So if I drill into those use cases, what we see very popular nowadays is cloud migration. It is usually, multi-year, multi-million-dollar projects. And we help our customers to automate and accelerate. And not only this, but we also help them identify the scope. So there's nothing hidden, there's nothing under the cover, as well as trust. So migration is use case number one, I'll put it. And then, of course, our bread and butter is regulatory compliance, both in the privacy regulations, detecting and finding personal information and helping it to report it, as well as finance regulations, both in the banking and insurance industries. But again, coming back to data fabric, I mean, our value to the customer is not limited to one use case, because once you have the data fabric and the standardization of the data practices, it improves also your power of doing data analytics, AI, and whatever the future data-driven processes you want to implement.
Thank you, Yetkin. What are some of the key business outcomes you help customers achieve, and what is the ROI?
Yeah, in our case, ROI is very easy because we provide automation, right? So like in our case, we do typically what a troubleshooting or documenting a lineage or identifying personal information, something will take weeks, months, maybe years for an organization. We do it within a matter of hours. So our time to joy, what we call the fast start, is 3 to 4 weeks. And I would say, I think we have the fastest, shortest time to joy among all our competitors. So number one is automation, right? So we reduce the time to not do what you are trying to do. Number two is, again, going back to the migration projects. We provide, things which wouldn't be otherwise visible to you, we make it visible so that you don't fall into those typical traps in a multi-year projects like scope creeps or hidden obstacles, etc. So we provide visibility. And the third thing is, of course, like regulatory compliance, we keep customers away from prison. That's what we say, all those big fines and etc. So we provide trust into the data. So not only we automate it, better than doing putting 50 men into the work, but our results are more accurate, more trustable, etc. So these are the top 3 line items in our ROI. And Christine, we have an ROI calculation which goes on even beyond 5, 10 bullet items. We can go in more details with our customers in a larger time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Yetkin. My next question is for New. New, what are Orion's major differentiators?
Great, thank you, Christine. So I would like to highlight 4 areas in which we are really differentiated. Number one is our technology leadership, right? So we offer the broadest coverage of technologies, and we can ingest metadata from more than 60 technologies, as Ramesh mentioned, from mainframe databases, data warehouses, big data sources, and ETL and BI reporting tools, as well as programming languages. Another area we are very strong is automation, as Yetkin has mentioned a few times. We can leverage automation, right, which is powered by AI and machine learning throughout our platform. So from metadata ingestion, mapping of assets with terms, data lineage, which is dynamic, embedded analytics, and to a dashboard and so on, okay? The second area will be our fast time to value proposition. So we are very flexible. You can deploy our solution on-prem or SaaS or even PaaS. Usually we can deploy our project for our clients in weeks rather than months or even years. Customers can see the results quickly and begin to reduce costs, improve efficiency, comply with regulations, and accelerate their modernization process in no time. The third area is really the lowest cost of total ownership, right? And the cost of deploying Orion EIG was usually a fraction of other vendors, okay? The last one will be our open architecture. We offer open APIs and have integration with popular platforms such as ServiceNow, Snowflake, Tableau, and Qlik, to name just a few. Okay, that's maybe the way we are differentiated.
Thank you, Nu. So how do you compare the APAC market trends with Europe or North America? And what is your go-to market strategy for APAC?
Okay, I think while the APAC market generally lags behind North America and Europe, the need for data fabric to enhance enterprises' data governance, data management, and data self-service is really becoming very urgent. And we believe that the APAC market has great potential, and we are leveraging the partner ecosystem to expand our business in the region. And our open architecture, as I mentioned above, and tight integration with key data management and governance platforms and tools provides a very good opportunity for system integrators or VARs to enhance their current product or service offerings. And we are looking forward to growing our business together with select partners.
Well, I would like to thank Ramesh, Yetkin, and Nu. Thank you very much for your time today. Please visit our website to learn more about EIIG and to request a demo. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Christine, and thank you, everyone. Have a good day.